Thank you. Hi, everybody. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today for the Circulation and OPAC Evergreen 315 upgrade training. I am Natalie Arnold. I'm the Support and Documentation Specialist here at the Pennsylvania Integrated Library System. And joining me today, we have Katie Greenleaf-Martin and Elizabeth Davis as well. Just a quick note, we are recording, so if you prefer not to be on screen and your voice recorded, please go ahead and turn off your video and mute yourself. We will have time after the demo if you do have questions that the recording will be off if you feel more comfortable doing it afterwards. But do feel free throughout the presentation, if you have questions, place your questions in the chat or go ahead and unmute yourself and ask away. Okay.
I had cream potato soup and a turkey sandwich.
1 second here.
Thank
you.
The mom knows to make it extra hot.
Okay. All right. So introductions, important dates, upgrade checklist reminder, and going over the updates that are affecting circulation and OPAC. That is what I'm going to be doing today for everyone. So just going over the schedule again. Today we are doing the Circ and OPAC training. If you weren't able to attend the previous trainings we had for cataloging and administration reports, please be sure to visit the Spark support page, the upgrade hub. We have information for feature documentation, also the recordings to those trainings as well. And there is still time to sign up for testing if you haven't done so already. And if you would like to do that, we could always use all the extra help. I'm kind of jumping ahead, but let me stick to the timeline here with, so today we're doing this training, November 12th. As a reminder is when it's the evening of November 12th, the upgrade will be occurring. So when you come in on November 13th, that Thursday, Evergreen will have upgraded to 315. By November 12th, please be sure to download any label or copy templates you have saved on your workstation. Another thing to do is screenshot your grid settings. So it should all be good, but just in case of anything occurring, you have screenshots of the grid settings so you don't have to go back and reconfigure all your columns and try to remember what they were. And make sure, this is super important, please make sure to log out at the end of the day on November 12th. And then the next morning, you will come into 315. And just a quick review of the upgrade checklist. Leading up to the upgrade, like I mentioned before, you can still sign up for testing if you haven't done so. You could test new features, bugs, and we're also looking for just testing what you do day to day to make sure those functions still work as expected. You also want to go ahead and review the feature documentation that we have up on the Spark page that lists all the details and step-by-steps if needed for what's affected in 315. And as I mentioned, downloading the templates, print, cataloging, and taking screenshots. And on the 13th, if you do need to re-register your workstation, you may need to do that, you may not. So just be aware of that. And if you have any issues with the browser, there's some tips here as well. And as always, if you run into any odd issues, please feel free to reach out to us at email us at support@sparkpa.org. Okay, and introduction, you know our team here. So now let me jump into the demo for circulation and OPAC training. So a number of the updates to circulation, there's quite a few for holds. They're not super big ones, but there's little ones that will just affect, just maybe daily things or just make life maybe a little easier, bug fixes. The first one I want to go over is the parts when you're placing a hold for a patron and it's a record that has monograph parts. They will note when you're placing the hold, if the part is not available, it's no longer going to display. So let me go ahead and show you an example rather than me just talking about it. So if I go ahead and search at Martin Library, and I'm going to do a search for an item that has parts. And just a quick, before I get into that, I have in 315, you can do dark mode for the browser if you prefer. I just selected dark mode for myself, just so I remember that this is the test server. But if you wanted to switch it back to regular, you can just do that. So I will do that for now, since that's what we're kind of all used to for the moment. Okay, so I did the search for the UGO at Martin Library, and this is the item that or the record I want to place a hold for. And just reviewing the item table, we can see that there's a number of 6 items available, but the first copy is not holdable. It is in the lost status. So any items that aren't holdable should no longer be available in the list when placing a hold. So when we go ahead and place the hold, you will see in this drop down right here, which we see in 313 right now, but it'll say any parts is one thing that is in 313 that you see currently, but now it no longer will show that volume 1 that was not holdable. So it will only display those parts that you can actually place a hold on. Another thing that goes hand in hand with it is that you have to select a particular part when placing a hold now. Like I just mentioned in 313, you can select any part and it's just going to place a hold. It's not, even if you don't say which part it is, but now you have to select a specific part in order to be able to place that hold. So if we just place the hold on that one, it will succeed. Okay, so that was the first one, real quick. Any questions on that update for placing holds on monograph parts? Nope. Okay, well, then moving on. The next update that I'd like to mention is an update to when you are placing a hold for a patron, and say someone comes up from before, or you're looking for someone who was here just before, you can now have an option to retrieve previous patrons right from the hold screen. So if we go to, say, before I go there, I'm going to place another hold. So right away, you can see here, there's recent patron comes up. If there hasn't been a recent patron, it's just going to be grayed out. But as soon as you have one patron or more, it does appear. So say I wanted to go back and place this hold for Margot, and because she's not at YCMAR, pick up. It's blocking because she's not at Margot is not at YCMAR home library. Sorry, but if I click recent patron, it will, and I wanted to go back to say the previous user who was Pale Swag. You can see it listed here. So it's going to bring up anyone that you've placed a hold for, or even search for in the hold. And then it also provides options of the patron search at the top. So you can search by if you have the barcode, last name, first name. There are also additional options you can add, where if you go by phone or address, ID, email, and date of birth. So it's essentially providing the patron search within the hold screen, while also providing the previous recent patrons. So you can just pick Pale Swag again. Oops, I didn't want to do that. You can pick Pale Swag again, and then I'm going to have to fix that. If I pick Pale Swag again, sorry about that, everybody, and select, it will automatically go ahead and put that previous patron right in there. You have to make sure it's empty before you select that. Okay. Any questions on that? All right, so the next feature I'd like to highlight is they're called hold request reset entries. The hold reset function, it provides the ability for staff to see when and why a hold request was reset. So that could be a number of different things. Let me bring up an account so I could just show it to you all. Okay, so if I go into the test account and you want to click on holds, and then under my open hold request, I want to see, I've been waiting for Pickleball is Life, and I'm wondering what's going on with that. If you select the title and then click detail view, if you scroll to the bottom of the screen, you're going to see an option for reset entries. If you click that, you'll see now it lists exactly what's been going on with this hold. So you can see it's sorted by date right now, so you can see what exactly happened throughout the life of this hold. So for example, here it was checked in, then it was canceled, the hold was canceled, it was uncanceled the same day, and then also the pickup library was changed twice. So it's a nice way, it's a nice feature that gives you, if something's up with the hold and you're curious to see what exactly is going on with it, it gives you that listing of activity within the hold. And then also, let me bring this over here. We have on our Spark support page a listing of the hold request reset reasons. So you can find this on the page here, and it just explains what exactly all those the codes mean. Any questions on the hold request reset entries?
Natalie, I just wanted to note that this is going to be good for those of you who have questions about why a hold is taking a long time to come from another library. Like this hold timeout reason is really helpful. You know, if you see, you can kind of see the path that it takes to fill a hold. So where the first copy that it targeted, and then if it didn't get pulled in time, and then it moves on to the next one. So I just wanted to highlight that one in particular for the reset reason.
It looks like Troy has a question in chat about if the hold expires. My memory is that if the hold expires, it's not going to cancel on its own, that staff need to go in and then cancel that, and so then that would then give you that cancel hold, and then it would say cancel cause hold expired.
That's my understanding, and
yeah,
I haven't tested it out, but that is my understanding of how it would work.
So that cancel cause should fill with, you know, when you go to cancel a hold and you select one of those options, that's where that cancel cause should fill in there.
Let's see. I could go off script and try to see.
Excuse me. Why don't you keep going? And if we have time at the end, we can come back
we'll
around.
Play around with it. Okay.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Any other questions before I move on to the next feature? No? Okay. All right. So then the next feature is moving a hold to the top of the queue. If you attended Elizabeth's training for the administration and reports training, she did discuss this briefly regarding the permissions that are required for moving a hold to the top of the queue. This is limited to users who have the CERC supervisor or live admin permission groups. So it is I am going to show you from the circ side how it occurs, but just keep that in mind that like if the permission is circ clerk, they won't be able to change the queue, but only circ supervisor and lib admin as well. So if I do a search for the fourth wing, and we'll do that again. Okay, so I want to place a hold for the fourth wing. Please hold, and I'll bring up my test user once again. And I could have hit recent patron as a reminder. Okay, so I want to place this hold. We're going to go back because now I want to view how many holds there are. All right, so we can see the hold that I just placed. I'm in position 3, queue position number 3 for this. So if I wanted to make this user to the top of the queue, I would go into the user account. So you could either go search for patron, search for the patron, or circulation and bring up their account that way. Okay, then I'm going to click the holds tab and see what the active holds are, or the open holds, I should say, are currently. So fourth wing was the item that we want to move to the top of the queue, which we're currently at third 4. So if you go to actions, or you can also right click on the line, highlighted line, and then you go to set top of queue. And it's going to give you the pop-up, move one hold to the front of the holds queue above the other holds. And we'll say okay. So now if we go back to this item, I'm just going to refresh the page. We should see swag is now in position 1 for the queue. So Elizabeth, do you want to mention about opportunistic holds?
Oh, yeah. So if your patron, you're moving the patron to the top of the queue, but if you are in a resource sharing agreement, and another copy comes in, say, at another location, it's still going to fill the holds in that opportunistic fashion where it's going to pick the top person at that location, not across the board. So in this case, Martin, this person is at the top of the queue for Martin. And so if a copy comes in to Martin, they will be the next person to get the copy. But if, say, you move someone at one of the other York Library locations to the top of the queue, and the item still came in to Martin, it would still go to the person at the top of the queue at Martin. So it's a little confusing, but it does make the holds fill faster because it's filling them in where the pickup library is and where the check-in library is, because it's faster to give it to the person who's picking it up where it is rather than sending it across town to fill a hold.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
What would be an example of why someone would place in front of it? So, Angela, if they're, usually we see this with hotspots. So say someone comes in and they are told, hey, your hotspot is ready for pickup, and they call back and say, hey, I can't pick it up. And you want to move it on to the next person, you can cancel their hold and then add it back and move them to the top of the queue. The big change with this is that it's just limiting it to specific users rather than anyone. Does that answer your question, Angela? Okay, thanks. Sorry.
Okay, any other questions for top of the queue?
It's not top of the queue, but it is related to hold type. Veronica is asking about what does M mean under hold type?
M means, oh, I am blanking on the top of my head, but essentially it is placing a hold for all the different formats for that title. So for example, if we go back to Fourth Wing, we're gonna do that. Is it a meta hold? I believe it's what it's called.
Yeah, meta record.
Yeah. Meta record hold. Thank you. So it's essentially if you have that's not a good example, I guess. Okay. Let's look this up. So if you have a title that has a large, here we go. For example, a large print book and a book. If you go ahead and just place a meta hold, it's going to place that hold for whichever comes first. So you don't essentially care about what format you're getting it in. You just want whatever is going to be available first. Is that clear? Does that make sense? Veronica? I'm gonna assume yes.
Yeah, she did the floating thumbs up, so I think she's
Okay, thank
good.
you. I don't see the chat. I couldn't see that. Thank you. Okay. All right. So moving on, something just super quick. Previously, or currently, I should say, in 313, when you are on the patron hold screen, if you go ahead and try to print the list of holds, it will not work properly. It just nothing happens. And a box won't appear or anything. But now that button is fixed, so now you will be able to print a list of holds if a patron asks for them. So super quick. Wanted to highlight that as well as a fix. The next item is on the holds pull list page. Bring that up. Under circulation, pull list for holds. Currently, right now, the shelving location, this button is just like an empty button. So actually, let me see if I can show you right now. This is, nope, that's still test. Sorry, I thought I had the regular one up, or 313 up. This is essentially just a blank space, and it's not clear what it was. So now the button for shelving locations and shelving location groups is just clear, and now you have an option to know what you're actually trying to apply in this situation. So that is another just quick fix for circulation. Does anyone have any questions regarding the holds pull list and using any of these filters?
We did have a question about going back to the holds queue.
Okay.
Rachel is asking if a patron wants to be skipped for a hold, like it's popular book and they're not ready for it yet. Could you move the next, if you move the next person up to the top, will the person who was at the top be then second? Am I correctly interpreting your question, Rachel?
Yes, I was just wondering if they were dropped second or further down the list.
I guess it would depend on Elizabeth. I see you unmuted.
Yeah, if the item has already become available for the patron, you would have to cancel the hold and check in the item, and it would go to that next person on the list. And then you would replace the hold for the patron who wants to be skipped. And in this instance, you could move them to the top of the queue to be quote unquote second. There's not like in Libby where you could say, I'm not like hold it for until like pause it for a week or whatever. You have to cancel the hold, send it to the next person, and then replace the holds and move the person up the queue. Does that make sense? Okay.
Okay, so then the last feature that I wanted to highlight for regarding holds is the hold shelf has some new items available in the column picker. So if we go to the hold shelf, and the column picker over here is the little gear. So the newest fields that you can add to this page are now owning library and item circulating library. So you can add that and item circulating library as well. And just as a reminder, anytime you add columns and you want to keep those columns for the next time you go onto the page, just make sure you click Save Columns. And this could be helpful for those libraries who maybe, if you're resource sharing and when you're clearing your holds, if you clear holds sooner for other like non-home library owned items, that could be one way that this would be helpful. Or if you just want to getting a list of items that you don't own and where they came from and whose items they are that are on the hold shelf. So, but just another little feature added in 3.15. Any questions on the hold shelf? Okay. All right, well, moving right along. The next feature is going to be about holding statements in library groups. So to demo this one, I am going to go into the OPAC for one of the libraries. So I'm on the test PhillyPack instance right now. And if I do a search for the title, and this is for libraries who do have library groups. So for right now, I'm going to change it from just the Lehigh Carbon Library Cooperative scoping and change it to the multi-district Lehigh Valley Pocono to widen the search. So previously, it would only show, actually, why don't I do that? I'll do the search first for Lehigh Carbon. It'd be helpful if I put the title in for Lehigh Carbon Library Cooperative. Okay, so if we just go down to the book record, you can see here that it's showing 014 copies available at Lehigh Carbon Library Cooperative. That's the way it will, it currently appears. But if I change it to the multi-district group, and that's the way, even if I'm searching in the OPAC today for multi-district, that's the way it will appear for patrons. But now with 3.15, the upgrade is it now will also list how many copies are available in your resource sharing group as well. So 0 of 14 copies are available in the Lehigh Carbon Library Cooperative, but there is one copy out of all 29 copies somewhere in the multi-district Lehigh Valley. So when you can see in the listing here that, let's see, in transit, you can then see all the libraries that you are resource sharing with who has a copy of that title that would be available. So it's just a nice little feature that provides a little bit more information for your patrons and for you, for staff, to know how many copies are available and where. Any questions on that?
Natalie, can you show them what it looks like in the staff catalog as well?
Sure. So do the same search. I'll do the first search for just the cooperative. Oh, sorry. Force a habit. All right. So we have right here, it's just showing the Lehigh Carbon Library Cooperative and Spark. And then, but if I'm searching the multi-district, it'll also show for staff right here. It now includes the Lehigh Carbon Library Cooperative system level, and here it's Spark, and now it also includes the multi-district, which is interesting as 30. So previously it would only show the at LeCar and at Spark, but now you get the multi-district, the resource sharing group included in the search results. Thank you, Elizabeth. Any questions on that? Okay. Moving on, I'm gonna move back to the OPAC once again. So this feature has to do with the advanced search in the OPAC. So for this demo, I am going to search the Altoona area public library and say we're a patron, helping a patron, and they're looking for books. Sorry, I wanted to click advanced search. Let me start that over. There we go. So before jumping into the basic search, we'll click on advanced search. And we're looking for, let's say, kittens. And we want to be specific in the shelving location that we are looking at. So a patron comes in wanting to look for kitten books, but they only want to look for books in the children's area that are nonfiction, or let's say young readers, easy readers. So this new feature not only will break it down to specific shelving location, but it also provides the option to break it down to specific audiences if your library is using shelving location groups. If you would like to use shelving location groups, this is a good demo as to what it would do for your catalog and for your patrons. So right now we see all the shelving locations that are available at the Altoona library. But if we decide to search within Altoona's children's shelving location group, it narrows down the shelving locations to only those items that are within that shelving location group. So then if I want to pick, we'll say juvenile nonfiction, and let's go with children easy reader. And we have the search for kittens. So if we do that search, all of our results should only show items from those two specific shelving locations. So you can see everything that is coming up is juvenile nonfiction or children easy reader. Yeah. So it's just a nice functionality that helps narrow down search results for patrons and for staff if you're looking within a certain location. And like I said before, if you aren't using the functionality and are interested in starting to use shelving location groups, please reach out to us. We can definitely help you with getting those set up. Any questions on that?
Natalie, there was a question about the library scoping groups display that you just demoed.
On the advanced search? Okay.
Not on the advanced search, but just when the holdings count.
Oh, the previous.
Yeah, the previous one.
In the staff client or OPAC?
Yeah, staff client. So Sarah's asking, can you see the copies of the multi-district easier with 315 on the staff end? So
That,
you can see the
So what-
count.
you can see the count, but you would still need to go into the holdings view. So you're asking if it the in this instance, the LECAR and multi-district results all appear on the item table. It does not. 315 does not include that. So if you wanted to see where the item is located in the resource sharing group that's outside your specific location or group, then you would need to still go to the holdings view. And then it's just going to take a bit because it's a little Spark.
Okay, she was hoping
Taking quite a bit.
that we would not need to use the table. So
I am not sure if that's something. Okay, I'm just going to take a little bit for that to load.
It's
I
gonna
don't
take
know
a
if that's
minute.
I don't know if that's something that's in development or something that we could consider.
When we did approach the software developer for this level of development, it would require a significant code change to like the very base code of Evergreen. So we're trying to make incremental changes that kind of help things rather than changing the very beginning the beginning of how it's coded, because it would change a lot of things, and to be perfectly honest, kind of expensive to do. So for most searches, when you're searching for something for a patron in a resource sharing group, and if it's telling you at least one other library in your group has it, the chances are good that you can just hit the placeholds and you'll be good to go. Because in many cases you won't know where the copy is coming from if multiple libraries own it. So as long as it lets you place the hold, it should be good to go.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, any other questions regarding the advanced search in the OPAC and the shoving locations? Okay, well then just the last thing I wanted to mention was there were some updates to the self-check. So there are some libraries that do use the Evergreen self-check. So if you are one of those libraries, let me bring up our page. So if you visit our Spark support page, again on the Upgrade Hub under the feature documentation link, you will find this page that provides just the information of the features and some bug fixes for the self-check. So nothing too major, but one of the major things I should say actually is the interface update is now Angular interface. So that's probably the biggest thing that's on here. And then just an activity logout message, that wording was cleaned up so it's clearer. Canceled holds no longer appear on the hold screen. Only available items that are still active, holds that are still active appear for patrons. And you can now select self-checkout print templates as well. They are now available in there. Yeah. So if you are a library who is using the Evergreen self-check, then you want to check out this page. And if you do have questions, please feel free, like I said, to reach out to us. And that is what I had on my list to review for the bug fixes and updates for circulation and OPAC with the Evergreen 315 update. So if there are any questions, let me stop sharing.
We did have a question on the meta record. If you wouldn't mind demoing that again, I think Betty had some
Oh, yeah.
questions.
Thank you.
Just the process of placing the meta record hold.
All right, so let's see. Let's go here. Okay, so if I'm going this way, oops. Give me one moment while I log in here. Let me just see, and I should have checked first if there were multiple. Could just be, yep. So, okay. So this is just a book. Let me do a search. We'll scratch that and we'll start a new search. We'll do James Patterson and all formats. So we want to find something that has multiple a title that has multiple formats. Okay, and we can also, to make it easier, there's the group by formats and editions. So if we go that route.
It looks like you're searching children's, so
Oh, I still have, thank you. Forgot to clear the, there we go. All right, just make sure that I clear the form. That'll be better.
it looks like it's stuck. Yeah, there we go.
Best laid plans. And all right, we'll try this again. Okay, hopefully this won't take too long, but we'll do the group by formats and editions. Right now you can see everything is large print book is the record, separate in the book. Okay, here we go. So the title, Private Berlin, you can see is in 3 separate formats, the book, CD audiobook, and large print book. So if we want to go ahead and place the hold, then the patron would fill out all the information for where the pickup library, contact information, and then under the advanced option, you'll see here the formats. And if you say, if you want the book, you would select the book if you want the CD or large print. But if none are selected, then any available format may be used. So I just want to make sure, because I had one highlighted, that it didn't. All right, so try it one more time. Okay. We're going to hit submit. Oh my goodness. yes, we want to go. Okay, the hold was successfully placed. So now if I go into test account, we'll see the hold listed. And let me, from the column picker, I'll select hold type. And you can see here that now the M appears because it's not a record hold for any of those formats, whichever comes first. This patron will be happy with. Hopefully that was clear enough with all my a little bit of fumbling.
And you can also
my
do
part.
it on the staff side too, Betty. It's the same process. You select the group formats and editions, and
I could do it that way too. Go. So you can see all the options here. Please hold. And then on the staff side, you can see that it you can, excuse me, you can see all the options here. If the patron is willing to accept any of them, it gives you that. I'm not sure. Okay, and if I go to this test account, so it shows it as the meta record hold. All right, any other questions?
Could we revisit the question that I had asked earlier?
Yes, can you just remind me once again what we
Yeah,
were?
no problem.
Thank you.
So I didn't see hold expired listed on the table of statements that might appear when you're looking at the history of a hold request. So if a hold had been captured and spent the requisite number of days on the hold shelf before it expired, and then it was checked in by staff, which technically cancels it so that it moves on to the next person, would that then show up as hold canceled?
Okay, so let's test that. Let me give me a minute or two to.
Elizabeth, do you want to stop the recording just because this is going to be easier to test if we look at an actual